Sunny and in the mid-70s today in Southwest Florida, but now it's time for UConn to play in the semifinal round of the Gulf Coast Showcase. After rolling in Game 1, no day at the beach here tonight. A tougher test this evening. Vanderbilt facing the Huskies now on SNY. The Huskies take the floor here at your main arena in Estero, Florida, as we bring you UConn women's basketball on SNY. Day 2 of the Gulf Coast Showcase. Third-ranked UConn taking on Vanderbilt. And it is great to have you once again with us here courtside in sunny Florida. Eric Freed, Megan Colmo here with you. UConn won Game 1 by 61 points over the College of Charleston. They did have 23 turnovers, but that was a byproduct of UConn bringing a lot of energy, maybe a little bit too much energy, onto the floor last night.
Well, you know, one thing that's been a little bit lacking is some of that energy, and I know that Gino and his entire coaching staff was thrilled with the way this team did play. They were more active. They talked so much more. You know, the great teams that he has had, they make it look easy. Well, you know what? It's not easy. You can't sit back and wait for it to happen. You have to go out and make it happen. And I thought last night they took a good step in that direction.
Leading the way was Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. We'll talk about her complete game in a moment. Let's take a look at how she moved up another offensive chart. The numbers presented by Cadillac. She is now third on the career list for three-pointers made at UConn. She passed Ann Strother, making 5 last night against the College of Charleston. But the secret behind her strong offensive showing? Good defense.
I think I was just trying to get a rhythm going and kind of keep my intensity up on defense. And a lot of my offense came from my defense and came from my teammates, you know, getting tips and stuff like that and steals.
You know she's going to make open threes, but you really noticed her all over the court last night.
Well, I always found that players do better when they don't necessarily think about making shots, but do other things. Kalina was so much more active defensively, stepping in passing lanes, dishing the ball nicely. I really love the energy that she played with. The entire team really played off of and were keyed off of her energy and enthusiasm. I mean, she had 21 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, a complete game, and as you indicated, started on the defensive end.
They'll need more of the same here tonight, taking on a Vanderbilt team out of the SEC, a team that hasn't lost yet this year. They were impressive and went over Minnesota in Game 1 here. 71-54 was the final, now 5-0. This is a young team with a lot of talent, growing pretty quickly here for Vandy.
Yeah, they have no seniors on this club, but Melanie Balcom, we got to spend a lot of time with her today. Just one of my favorite people in women's basketball, has been around forever. But look at what's going on here. They are so young. Look at the scoring. Almost half of their scoring is by 3 freshmen. And now with those 5 different leading scorers, you know, Melanie told us, you know, it kind of makes it difficult what to prepare for as a coach. But she goes, at the same time, how can teams scout us? They don't know who to take away. So she's got her game face on, but they're always prepared. They're big, they're tough, and they will be a formidable foe for Gino Auriemma and the Huskies.
It is the third-ranked Huskies taking on the Commodores just down the road from Fort Myers Beach. Back with the starting lineups and the opening tip next on SNY. Starting lineups are presented by Subaru. For the third-ranked Huskies, they will have the same starting 5 as last night with Mariah Jefferson, Kia Nurse, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, Brianna Stewart, and Morgan Tuck. For Vanderbilt, Paris Key is a freshman. She'll run the point. Morgan Beatty is a junior. Rebecca Dahlman is a redshirt freshman. More on her story as we go along. Audrey-Anne Caron-Goudreau is a freshman who's coming off a strong game, 21 points, 14 rebounds in the win against Minnesota. And Marquez Webb had 9 points and 5 rebounds for their head coach, Melanie Balcom, in her 13th season, 282 victories, #1 on Vanderbilt's all-time wins list. Vanderbilt, UConn, Green Bay, the undefeated teams here so far in this tournament, because Green Bay picked up a victory. So the winner of this game will take on the Phoenix, Georgia Tech, Green Bay, Arizona State, UConn, Vanderbilt. Got some NCAA tournament teams from a year ago, 4 in all.
I'll tell you what, Green Bay was fun to watch.
They defeated Arizona State 63-57 in game 1 of our nighttime doubleheader. So Green Bay, squad that has won 16 straight Horizon titles in the regular season, they will take on the winner of this game. And we're ready to go. Game on here. Luis Gonzalez, Kylie Galloway, Mark McClenny, our officiating crew. UConn is the visiting team, so they are in their road blue, and we're underway here in Estero. Morgan Tuck, good ball fake to take it right to the basket with a finish. Good start for UConn right out of the blocks.
That's a really smart decision to take the 6'3" center to the hole.
UConn bringing the pressure into the backcourt. Vanderbilt averaging 21 turnovers a game.
Gina wanted Kia Nurse to step in and take that pass away. Look for UConn to be a little bit, see, look at that. That's the defensive stuff we're talking about. Don't
Nurse.
let people drive by you.
Shot clock down to 3. The take to the basket is too strong. Did not catch the iron. And a second on the shot clock here as we take a look at the drive of the game presented by Ford. First hoop of the game.
Nice pump fake. She gets Caron Goudreau off of her feet. Heads up play from the redshirt junior.
Good start
Redshirt
defensively
sophomore.
for UConn. No time really left on the shot clock. Tied up underneath. Shot clock violation, so a turnover for Vanderbilt. UConn knows this is a step up as Jefferson's 3 is off the mark, and the rebound to Caron Goudreau.
Yeah, nice box out there by Caron Goudreau.
Charleston struggling this season. They haven't picked up a win. Ball ends up inside for Marquez Webb, and now back out to the top. So Charleston's trying to find themselves. This is a young Vanderbilt team, but they've kind of found themselves already playing so well. But now another turnover. 2 turnovers so far. 2 field goals for UConn on top 4-zip.
They're another really good example of defense turning into offense. Nice job by Brianna Stewart.
A 6'3" freshman puts it on the floor, trying to take it at Stewart. Will pull up.
Wow.
Kia Nurse comes away with the rebound, and UConn wants to run. Nurse drives all the way, and the foul.
Wow.
She said it herself, Meg. She loves to attack the basket and put that at the top of her highlight reel.
We love to watch her attack the basket. How about splitting those white jerseys? And right there, that just shows you her focus and her upper body strength to knock that in while getting fouled.
Falling behind early is nothing new for the Commodores as Nurse finishes the three-point play. They fell behind Wisconsin 17-2 in Madison and came back, picked up the victory. All apologies to Wisconsin. They are not the number 3 ranked team in the country. As Key took it to the basket, and the Commodores still looking for their first hoop, down 7-0. Stewart finds a cutting Tuck, who heads it out of bounds.
I think she tried to do something with it before she caught it.
Well, we talked about the energy, something you touched on right at the top of our telecast. One person who brings a little bit too much energy sometimes is Morgan Tuck, and she needs to kind of try to find a way as the ball is kicked, kind of just dial it back just a little bit.
Yeah.
She's so excited to contribute.
She herself has said it, I just want to do so well. But, that'll just come with more playing time. Remember, she didn't play all last season due to that knee surgery. But thankfully for Gino and his staff, she got the red shirt, so she's only a sophomore this year.
Here's Key. Nice look inside of Vanderbilt's on the board. That is Marquez Webb, number 4 scorer on this team, averaging 9 a game. Real balanced offensively so far this season for Vanderbilt. Shot is off the mark, and Webb pulls down the rebound, and Vanderbilt settling down perhaps a little bit here. Key, I don't know, did Stewart get a piece of that one on the way to the basket?
She at least altered the shot if she didn't touch it.
Nurse goes down hard. Broken up by Mosqueda Lewis. Jefferson. And wide open is KML for her first 2. Timeout, Vanderbilt.
That's a good timeout by Balcom. But really good energy for UConn. And what's nice to see, Eric, is that a bunch of different players getting involved. There, the nice pass to the wide open KML. But Kalina started everything by knocking down the outlet pass, which allowed UConn to keep the ball in their offensive end.
We talked about the balance for this Vanderbilt team, averaging 69 points a game. No one averages more than 12 a game, but 5 players average at least 9. And you made the point earlier, there's been 5 different leading scorers. So, well, that's good. You're sharing the wealth. Everybody's contributing right now, but who's going to be your go-to person?
And that's the one problem, if you could call it a problem, that Balcom has. And because they're so young, that's what's going to make this year a work in progress. But they have no seniors and tremendous chemistry already. The future looks really bright for the Commodores.
They get the ball in the hands of Dahlman for the first time, and you can see what she does. She scored 5,000 points in her high school career in Minnesota. She can score. She's battled to get out here for her redshirt freshman season. There's Tuck turning, and the rebound for Caron Gaudreau.
And if you notice, Vandy does a really good job of boxing out all white jerseys. They find the blue jersey and get a body on them.
They are a plus 10.5 in rebounding margin. 2-on-1 the other way off the turnover. Jefferson, nice little ball fake to take it in for her first 2. Speaking of balanced scoring, 5 different Huskies have scored so far.
And that's what they have to do. For UConn to achieve all of their goals, they got to get everybody involved.
Dahlman tries to take it at Tuck and Stewart. There's Tuck fighting inside, slapped away. It'll be UConn basketball when we come back to Estero.
Everyone involved here, but all their offense is starting on the defensive end of the floor. Mariah Jefferson with the finish.
Welcome back to Southwest Florida. 6th meeting all time between UConn and Vanderbilt. I forgot to say this last night, but it's time to go to Kareth Burke, our Black Friday Midnight Madness shopper, whose report is brought to you by GMC. Kareth.
Thank you for embarrassing me. I want to tell you about UConn's graduate assistant, Jasmine Lister, who played for Vanderbilt last season. Lister owns Vanderbilt's record for most career points played. She also started 129 consecutive games. So with that in mind, I asked her, did the UConn coaches pick your brain about how much Vandy plays? And Lister said, you know, not as much as you would think. She noted that Vanderbilt has a different look. They're more aggressive this season. And the freshmen you guys talked about bring a new dynamic to the offense. Now, as far as how Lister ended up a grad assistant for the Huskies, that's a story of basketball being a very small world. Out of school, Lister signed as a free agent with the Seattle Storm. That's where Sue Bird plays. The Storm cut Lister in the preseason, but UConn coach Chris Daly happened to ask Bird, do you know anyone who could be our graduate assistant for this season? Bird said she knew just the person, and now Lister has her new home with the Huskies. Eric?
Thank you, Kareth. 5 points for Kia Nurse as UConn stretches the lead to 9 out of the timeout. Well, there's someone who's got a little insider information regarding the team that she played so well for. 129 games, never missed a start in her 4-year career.
Unbelievable. And all those minutes, I mean, she's far and away the all-time minutes leader in Vandy history. Pretty impressive. And just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, too.
She'd like to forget the last meeting between Vanderbilt and UConn, however. That was in the NCAA tournament back in 2013. She was 1 of 11 from the floor. That was a 77-44 win for the Huskies. Shot clock down to 1, and it's a shot clock violation. What do you think of the defensive effort so far for UConn?
Again, starting with the energy, it's been outstanding. Nice help there by Stewart. Now Morgan Tuck has got to work better. I know Dahlman's a good player, but you got to keep the player in front of you.
Jasmine Jenkins has come in for Vanderbilt wearing number 15. She'll play the point as Brianna Stewart knocks down the jumper.
You know, Stewart only had 8 points last night. They have to get her more involved in the offense, no question about it.
3 of 10 shooting in that game as Dahlman to the basket. Can't get that to go. Put back, no good. Stewart got a hand on it into the hands of Kia Nurse. Jefferson, good look ahead. Morgan Tuck for two more.
Gosh, Morgan Tuck is just so fun to watch. Such a smart basketball player, just running out on the break.
Jefferson got a hand on it not once, but twice, and ended up sliding on the floor. It will be Vanderbilt ball.
That was a dangerous outlet pass, but wisely Jefferson gave it to the streaking Tuck, and the nice finish by Morgan.
Well, Vanderbilt's been bringing a couple players in and out. Now Marquez Webb will head to the bench as Kristen Gaffney will come on. Interestingly, so far here for UConn, Meg, no substitutions yet. Same starting five on the floor. Ball is tipped into the backcourt.
Well, they've tinkered with their starting lineup a little bit, and I think Gino's going to go with the players that are producing. And right now, this is a really good group on the floor.
Dahlman makes the extra pass to Key. Rebound for Gaffney. And the two.
For UConn as a team, always known for its defense, that'll be a work in progress all season long.
Tough pass for Stewart to handle from Mosqueda Lewis. Turnover, Connecticut.
You know, the pass was a little hot coming in, but I like what Mosqueda Lewis did. She threw it to Stewie's outstretched right hand, which was away from the defense. The right way to do it. She just had a little too much mustard on it.
Into the front court for Gaffney. And now Vanderbilt will try to settle things down here as UConn has an 11-point lead first half. Trying to move on to the championship game of the Gulf Coast Showcase to take on Green Bay tomorrow. Vanderbilt pleading that it was tipped out of bounds. It was just thrown out of bounds for the sixth turnover for the Commodores, as Sanaya Chong will be the first sub in for UConn as Mariah Jefferson heads to the bench. Stewart. Chong just into the game, not ready to pull the trigger just yet.
That's a wise decision by Chong to not shoot it the first time she touches the ball.
And traveling violation. Turnover, Connecticut. Vanderbilt gets it back.
Again, I just like UConn playing with the energy brings a different purpose out there. Much more productive.
Kia Stokes will come in next dead ball. Brianna Stewart came over. She was waiting for the drive by Morgan Beatty, and Vanderbilt turns it over again.
Really good team defense to have Stewart come over from the weak side, and you got to come outside the lane, stop the offensive drive there. Tremendous.
Kia Nurse, three-pointer is off. Dahlman has it for the Commodores.
Vandy will give Nurse that shot all night long.
Look at the fakes and the moves inside by the talented freshman from Quebec, Audrey Ann Caron Goodrow, here at Vanderbilt with her twin sister, who's out with an injury tonight. Showed us a little something working on the inside there. Now heads out of bounds. It will be Vanderbilt basketball.
Well, Balcom not happy that Mosqueda Lewis just got a wide open three. One thing she told us is that they do not want to give Mosqueda Lewis any uncontested threes. Of course, it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to do it.
Well, when you're making 60% of your three-pointers, I'd say that's probably a good thing to try to prevent. Key got a half step but couldn't finish. And here comes Mosqueda Lewis. Chong.
You can tell she wasn't really sure what to do with the ball.
And a foul called on Gaffney, really trying to get physical with Brianna Stewart. She was caught with the push. It'll be UConn basketball when we come back. 11:27 to go here in the first half with the Huskies up by 9. Meg is like a chameleon. She's got two eyes, and she can use them independently, as you're going to find out in Como's court vision. Taken away.
Well, here's something that might be, considered UConn's Achilles heel this year. Okay, Jefferson goes for the steal. Okay, fine. They get resituated here. Watch Sanaya Chong defensively, letting number 41, Paris Key, go right by her. Sanaya Chong is a much better athlete and defensive player than to let that kid drive right by. That will keep her on the bench. Now look at Gino in the huddle. Like, you got to get down, stay in your stance. You can't just let the guy drive by you. And that's that energy and that competitive spirit that the coaches are looking for. Sanaya is a much better player than she's showing.
So you've got an eye on the bench. You got an eye on the court.
Well,
very impressive.
Come on, when you have kids, you gotta have an eye. You
right.
gotta have eyes all
kids
over the place.
Kids think you have like 17 eyes. Catch them all the time. Here's Mariah. Not that sweet angelic Angelo would ever do anything.
Oh, never.
Jefferson, Chong, Stokes, Stewart, and Mosqueda Lewis, the 5 on the floor now for the Huskies, who are 8 of 14 from the field. Stewart. Mosqueda Lewis fighting inside, and a second chance thanks to that hard work.
Nice pass.
Oh, good look. Stewart to Stokes.
And that all happened because of tremendous hustle by Kalina Mosqueda Lewis to track down the offensive rebound.
Ball kept in play by Krista Reed, freshman into the game. Keys, rebound for Stokes. Stokes had a very quiet, stealthy 13 rebounds in the win against Charleston off the bench. Mosqueda Lewis, open look for 3 after missing 5 3-point attempts to start the game. UConn finally knocks one down, and it comes from the senior.
A completely different energy that we're seeing here tonight. It's a lot of fun. You can tell UConn is having fun playing the game right now.
Gaffney, midway through the first half, and UConn with a 14-point lead.
Wow.
3-pointer from the freshman from Quebec. Now 2 for 11 outside the line this season. 3-pointer brings it back to an 11-point game.
But at 6'3", gosh, what a dimension to her game to be able to knock down the long-range shot.
Mosqueda Lewis, open look, Sanaya Chong. She's trying to find her shot so far this season, below 40% from outside the 3-point line. Here's Stokes.
Stokes, yeah, she's come in and given some really quality minutes here.
Hook won't go. And Brianna Stewart gets called for the foul, a poke in the eye of Karan Goodrow. Had kind of a delayed flop to the floor, but she definitely was hit, and she's in a lot of pain. I think it's a finger in the eye. Watch on the...
Oh, yeah.
She was up and then down.
And you have to know Brianna Stewart, she feels terrible.
Oh, yeah, right, the finger right to the open eye.
And
you saw the look on Stewart's face.
Yeah, you saw Stewart's face,
away.
And then she went over and to see if she was okay.
Just as we were coming back to that shot you see right there, she was kind of looking down the floor. So the freshman from Quebec being attended to, as we mentioned, her twin sister out with an ankle sprain.
Say, there's nothing worse than getting poked in the eye like that.
One of those things, I don't know if it's a good comparison. When you get the wind knocked out of you feel like you're never going to breathe again. And when you get poked in the eye, in the open eye, you feel like, well, I'm not going to be able to see anytime soon. And it takes a while, and they'll take a look at her. She seems to be...
Yeah, you certainly hope it's nothing serious.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't intentional.
It is the first personal foul on Stewart, and crowd here, again, much like last night, a lot of UConn fans here applauding as she comes off the floor, and we'll see if they just take her to the end of the bench or back to the locker room. A little wobbly heading off, too, like unsure where she's heading. So Stewart will come out.
She cannot open her eye at the moment, so certainly hope she is okay.
Marquez Webb back into the game. Rebound Stokes. 3 rebounds for Kia Stokes off the bench. Inside of 9 to play now in the first half, with the Huskies still in front by 11. Mariah Jefferson, a blocking foul.
That was that offense, a little too fast. But Jefferson saw some space. And she said, why not? There's nobody near me. See, that's where Stokes has got to do a better job diving down. Jefferson will be able to dump it to her.
Mariah misses the first. 2 for 5 now here in the early going this season from the free throw line as Kia Stokes heads to the bench. They continue to work on Adrienne Caron-Gaudreau. Still trying to get the eyes open here. Jefferson misses a couple free throws. As a team, UConn came in this game shooting 63% from the free throw line and knocking down a 3 as Krista Reed, shooter, now 6 of 13 from outside the three-point line this season. Vanderbilt trying to crawl back into this one, down by 8. And a foul called on Vandy. That will be the 4th team foul on the Commodores.
Well, as we said before, Vandy being down doesn't faze them at all. They don't play the scoreboard. They just play every possession. Fundamentally sound. Play good defense.
Gaffney whistled for the foul. That's her 2nd personal, so she'll go to the bench. It's Jefferson, Gabby Williams, Kia Nurse, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, and Morgan Tuck, the 5 on the floor for UConn. Huskies come in trying to get into the championship game to take on Green Bay tomorrow night at 8:30 here in Southwest Florida. Down of bounds, it'll remain UConn basketball. UConn has won 53 in a row when it comes to in-season tournament play. Their last loss was to a Vanderbilt team 22 seasons ago. Jefferson for 3.
Boy, that makes such a difference. And then a nice steal.
The feed to Nurse to the basket for 2 more.
A nice double pump to avoid the block.
7 points for Kia Nurse. Inside of 8 to play in the first half. UConn pushes the advantage up to 13. And a turnover. Taken away. Nurse. Jefferson caught it. Nurse tracked it down. Scramble for the basketball is a wild one. Kia Nurse flying in. And then a foul on Mariah Jefferson.
Great hustle all around.
Crazy about their football here in the Sunshine State. Florida and Florida State were playing today, so Vanderbilt and UConn getting a little piece of that football action. 7:40 to go in the first half. UConn shooting 57% from the field. Vanderbilt 31% from the floor as the Huskies lead here in Estero.
Talk about a difference in energy. The Huskies have 8 fast break points here already, and that was what they had the entire 40 minutes last night against the College of Charleston. Definite energy around here tonight.
Webb throws it away. That's the 10th turnover for this Vanderbilt team. Again, averaging 21 a game. They had 21 in their win against Minnesota. Kia Nurse, Gabby Williams, Brianna Stewart, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, Morgan Tuck. The 5 on the floor for UConn. Nurse drops it down. Tuck. Foul underneath on UConn. It's going to be number 2 on Brianna Stewart.
Again, because of good boxing out. The shot goes up. Now Stewart coming from the left side, trying to come in. Well, you know what? Nice job by Jasmine Jenkins to get a body on her and force that foul.
Well, look at the pick by Gabby Williams. 6 steals now for UConn. Gabby had a good game against College of Charleston. 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 17 minutes of work. There you see the freshman. Open look, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. Count it.
And I know that makes Melanie Balcom to shake her head.
Was inevitable, but tonight Mosqueda-Lewis has passed Shea Ralph for 14th on UConn's all-time scoring list. Shea's used to it by now, right? I think that's
hey, the older you get, the further you go down the list.
I think that's the 9th player that's passed her since she retired. Kalina the latest. Now with 1,684 points.
Oh, I thought they were going to make it say that. Oh, yeah, it is a charge.
There's an offensive foul called against UConn.
That's 3.
3 fouls on Brianna Stewart. You can hear what this crowd thinks of that call.
And I will say this. I thought it was a dangerous pass from Kia Nurse at about 30 feet from the basket. It could have easily been stolen and gone the other way. So there, you don't make that pass, Stewart doesn't get put into that position.
So UConn's best player on the bench with 3 fouls. Let's see how the Huskies respond.
Nice crossover.
Krista Reed now with 5. Reed and Karan Goodrow pacing Vanderbilt in scoring. Kia Nurse, that looked good right off her hand, didn't it? She's into double figures now with 10 after that 3. Back the other way, running the floor for Vandy, and finishing is Morgan Beatty, her first points. Nurse, 2 more for Kia Nurse. Went for 11 points against Charleston. Game before that, 22 against Creighton. She's stepping up with Stewart on the bench.
God, there's just a confidence and a presence about Nurse. She doesn't play like a typical freshman.
A little fake by Krista Reed, and she is finding the range. Had 9 points against Minnesota in game 1 of this tournament. Came into the tournament averaging 6 points a game, but that's already 7 for her. Mariah Jefferson. Well, it was a cold start for Connecticut here in this cold building in Southwest Florida, but now they're heating up from outside.
Well, and what did Melanie Balcom tell us earlier today, Eric? You know, we want to make other people step up and beat us, and some other players have come through as Williams gets the steal.
Gabby Williams takes it all the way. The steal and score her first points.
Now Mosqueda-Lewis.
Oh, look at the takeaway by Mariah Jefferson, tiptoeing to keep it in play. And then turned over by UConn. And Jefferson will get whistled for the foul.
And Shea saying she backed into her. How can you call a foul on her?
Mariah for 3. UConn by 20. UConn, 7 of their last 8 from the floor to take a 20-point lead as we take a look at the UConn Teamwork Replay Breakdown presented by UConn Health.
You know, sometimes players do things that don't show up in the stat sheet. Watch Morgan Tuck here. She throws the good skip pass, which gets the defense to move. With the right arm, she motions to Jefferson to get the ball to Nurse because she set the screen on the kid who was supposed to be getting out on Nurse. That's the great stuff that Morgan Tuck does to open up her teammates. And when Gino talks about her doing all the little things, there's a perfect example of how she sees things a step or 2 ahead.
Mariah Jefferson heads to the bench. Sanaya Chong into the game. And the shot clock did not get going. I don't know if the game clock started either. I don't think it did. So with Brianna Stewart on the bench for an extended period of time, what changes for UConn on both ends of the floor here? That was one of the parts of the game plan for Vanderbilt, trying to take away Mosqueda-Lewis and Stewart and let other players beat them. Well, you've got the best player on the bench with 3 fouls.
Right.
There she is.
It's a great opportunity for UConn to figure out who can step up in her absence. You know, it's certainly not something that Gino wants to get used to, but it's great for the team's confidence in figuring out other ways to score. And with the energy that they're playing with, I think it's a great sign for UConn, and they've made some tremendous progress just in the last couple days alone.
I'll tell you, someone who's trying to step into that opening, it's Gabby Williams.
No question about it.
Comes in and gets another steal. That's turnover number 14 for Vanderbilt. Morgan Tuck to the basket with the left hand.
Well, so smart and a tremendous recognition by Tuck. There was no weak side help down the lane and to the left side. She just went right for it. There was no way her defender could stay with her.
And a block by Gabby Williams. Another good defensive play by the freshman.
Well, we know she can jump.
And it leads to Kia Nurse finishing on the other end. 14 for Nurse, but 94 feet down the floor. It all started with Gabby Williams, and it's tipped out of bounds. Vanderbilt ball. First, the steal from Williams 2 plays ago.
I tell you, she is just incredibly athletic. Tremendous anticipation, stepping in front, stepping over that high side. Again, a kid who was a guard and learned to play post in her short tenure here at UConn.
Good help by Mosqueda Lewis. Sticks with it, tiptoes on the baseline and saves it out to Sanaya Chong. 3-on-2 the other way, and Chong does it herself. Another timeout called here by Vanderbilt. It's pretty impressive right now what UConn is doing on the defensive end of the floor, leading to runouts on offense.
Well, you know, and a lot of fans have been saying, wow, this Connecticut team doesn't look the same. But you know what? The way they've kind of gotten themselves back into the flow is by paying attention to detail, playing good defense, playing with energy, being aggressive. It's not rocket science, but they hadn't been playing with that passion and energy, and you see it now, and look how much better they look, all because they put a little more effort and energy into it.
14 Vanderbilt turnovers, UConn converting them into points, and Gino Auriemma has to be happy with what he's seeing right in front of him here in the first half.
Oh, he has to be
on the
ecstatic.
defensive end.
Absolutely ecstatic. Although that doesn't look like ecstasy there, but we'll just go with happy.
He's not doing the glasses off, bridge of the
Rubbing
nose.
the head.
Yeah, that's. He's got his hands up here on the trip down the floor.
Well, you know, the energy that they're playing with is also feeding into him. It goes both ways.
And when Vanderbilt's getting a shot off, it's a tough shot, challenged as Gaffney could convert. Inside of 2 minutes to play here in the first half. The advantage 26 here for the Huskies. It's an 11-0 run, making a 13-0 run with a chance to add to it.
This is Morgan, look at her. This is Morgan Tuck's team on that floor. And she went with it. Because she's a threat to shoot the three, you gotta respect it. And Kristen Gaffney tried, and Morgan knows that she's quicker than the 6'1" forward.
At 15 against Charleston. Now with 9 here in the first half against Vanderbilt.
They're switching on all the screens, but they're communicating.
Rachel Bell hands off to Paris Key. Gabby Williams digging in on defense. Key did well to get a shot off. Well done by the freshman from Greensboro, North Carolina, her first points.
Yeah, that was a tremendous shot by Paris Key. Really good defense, but Key finished.
Tuck finishes again, and we'll head back to the free throw line.
Even that show of emotion from Morgan Tuck after she made that bucket and she screamed yes, you don't see her do that a lot. And gosh, why not? And she loves to go left. The good help was there, but the foul call. Gina would like to see her yell like that with excitement more often. Great production out of Morgan Tuck here in the first half.
Another three-point play for Tuck. She now has 12. Nurse leading the way with 14. And with 1 minute to go in the first half, the lead is 30 for the Huskies. Rachel Bell, deep
Wow.
three. She's a shooter, now 8 of 16, freshman from Cumberland Furnace, Tennessee.
Really good recognition that they were switching on the screen, and she said, all right, you think you can switch, but you got to stop me.
Knocked away by Reed. Turnover for UConn. And Key, that's a pretty good finish there from Paris Key. Get a look at what these freshmen can do here for Vanderbilt. Bell knocks down the three. Key with the take to the basket, and UConn's going to take a timeout here with 33 seconds to go before halftime.
Yeah.
And at the half, be sure to stay with us. First half highlights as Meg will take us through the top plays from the first 20 minutes. And the coaches will weigh in on expectations. We know they're always sky high, and how the philosophies, maybe they get tweaked a little bit year to year. And also hear from Brianna Stewart. All coming up at halftime. So 25-point lead. Gina Auriemma calls a timeout. Melanie Balcom lost one of her best players to an eye injury as Caron Gaudreau went out after being hit in the eye inadvertently by Brianna Stewart. She has since left the bench area and gone back to the locker room for further treatment, we're going to assume. Hopefully we'll get an update from Vanderbilt at the half. Sanaya Chung for Kia Nurse. Williams. A rebound for Webb. Time here for a final shot for Vanderbilt. Plenty of time. And then it's spiked out of bounds and an offensive foul called on Dahlman. She has been kept in check here today for Vanderbilt.
Hey, Chris Daly jumped off the bench, and she'll kill me for calling her out, but she was so excited with that call. Watch this, stepping in. Nice help there by Mosqueda Lewis.
Sanaya Chong, with time winding down here in the first half, couldn't finish, and that is the end of the first half. Brianna Stewart picked up her third personal foul with 6:04 to go in the first half, and UConn had a 30-14 lead at that point. Well, now the scoreboard tells you that their lead has gone from 16 points up to 25 points in that period of time as teamwork, energy came through. Vanderbilt got a couple of hoops late at the first half, something for them to try to build off of, but to see what UConn liked in that first half, here's Gino with Karen.
Gino, I heard you give your team some defensive notes during the timeouts. What did you like about the way your team was able to pressure Vanderbilt?
I thought we started out the game with a lot of pressure, and I think we disrupted them enough. And we're trying to get, quicker. We want to be a little bit quicker than they are. And I thought early in the game we were a little too quick with our shot selection. I think once we started getting into low ball movement, I just think that may have been one of the best halves that we played all year long at both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. And, I can't say enough about, Kia Nurse and Morgan Tuck. Boy, they sure have been special since they got in the starting lineup.
Thank you, Gino. New starters in that lineup. It's leading to a large lead here at Germain Arena. UConn up 52-27. We'll be right back with the halftime report in just a moment. Welcome to the UConn halftime report from Germain Arena. The Huskies lead 52-27. Kia Nurse, 14 points. Morgan Tuck, 12 points. And Gino Auriemma made sure to spotlight those two, playing excellent basketball since he added them to the starting lineup. The Huskies lost the game to Stanford in November, so their path this season will not be undefeated like last season, but the expectation for the Huskies is still the same, something the coaches explained. Take a listen.
The expectation?
Wow, there's only one expectation.
It's to win a national championship. That's our goal every year, and it's understood.
Well, the goal is always to win a national championship. We don't hide from that. That's something that is expected, that we expect.
To win a national championship.
I know, shocker. And that's one of the things I'm proudest about of our players, because the kids that come here know that's the goal, and they embrace it, and they thrive in that environment.
You understand when you come to UConn that the expectation is to win every year, not just to win a game or a conference championship or win 500 or whatever.
I don't think that we really focus on it that way, but I'm sure the outside people will be talking about it all year, and I think that's one thing that Coach does a really good job of, is actually just focusing on us getting better every single day and doing what we need to do and not worrying about, you know, what this monumental thing is, or that the record, or even just the championship, right? We need to get better today. And if you do that every single day, you're gonna win a national championship is the ultimate goal.
The bottom line is, we expect to win a national championship this year. And if we don't, we're gonna be really disappointed.
That's the word from the coaches, and coming up on the halftime report, you will hear from Breanna Stewart. 4 points, 3 fouls for Stewart after 20 minutes. The Huskies lead 52-27. Welcome back to the UConn halftime report. The Huskies lead Vanderbilt at Germain Arena. Breanna Stewart in her junior year leading the conversation as one of the best players in college basketball. You can see her career stats presented by Samuel Adams. She averages about 17 points per game. Let's hear from Stewart on her goal of winning 4 national titles at UConn.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, I'm 2 for 2 right now, so we haven't messed up yet. And you know, here at UConn, the goal every year is a national championship. So the fact that I wanted to win 4 shouldn't be that big of a deal, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Back inside Germain Arena, a couple of minutes away from the start of the second half. UConn on top of Vanderbilt, 52-27. As we welcome you back here to Estero, Florida. Eric and Meg back with you courtside. Really impressive first half. You heard what Gino had to say to Kareth walking off. Probably the best half of basketball they played.
Definitely.
Especially when you look at both ends of the court.
Yeah, and it was the energy, and they played great defense, and it went to the offense. But 2 players in particular that he pointed out. Kia Nurse, I mean, she loves to drive. There, the great body control and upper body strength. And here, the drive and the pull-up, showing her ability to stop on a dime. And Morgan Tuck runs the floor so well at 6'2" and can finish with the soft touch. But I love that she's got the nice shot fake and the strong finish to draw the foul. The 2 of them have set the tempo for their team here this evening.
Before the teams head back out onto the floor to start the second half, let's check in with Kareth Burke.
Eric, Vanderbilt's coach, Melanie Balcom, gave me the injury update for Adrienne Caron-Goudreau. Her first words to me were not good. They're unsure if she's going to play this second half. In the first half, we saw Breanna Stewart actually accidentally scratch Adrienne in the eye. It looks like she has a scratch on her eye. It was the poke. There might be an abrasion, and Adrienne doesn't even want to open that left eye right now. So, not good. Eric?
Kareth, thanks for the report. Real talented freshman for Melanie Balcom with a outstanding freshman class here. I'm going to get the redshirt freshman Rebecca Dahlman, but hopefully she'll have a quick recovery and gets the very best treatment down here. And hopefully we'll have a little bit more information as this tournament progresses here. One more day tomorrow.
You know, we were just hoping it was just a, you know,
poke
a momentary
into the open eye,
discomfort. Yeah,
yes.
Poor kid. I certainly hope it's nothing too serious.
You can see Stewart out there to start the second half with the 3 fouls. Kia Nurse with 14 points led UConn in scoring, 12 points for Morgan Tuck.
Well, Stewart with these 3 fouls, this is a good opportunity for her to show her leadership, not to commit a 4th foul, play smart, and be a leader and stay on the floor.
Reaches out and maybe had to pull back a little bit there as Gaffney went to the basket for 2.
Yeah, she didn't want to come up with number 4 just 30 seconds into this half. Vanderbilt packing it in the lane.
Sketta Lewis, pass thrown away, turnover taken away by Vanderbilt with Paris Key bringing it across half court.
We haven't talked about this a lot recently, but the first 5 minutes of the second half is so important.
Morgan Tuck with the steal, and then she was fouled.
Yeah, Webb knew she did it. But, you know, the first 5 minutes, you got to come out and establish yourselves. The nice pass, but wow, look at that nice step in. Steal by Tuck.
Big crowd here at Germain Arena, all standing. Those UConn fans, and a blocking foul called on Gaffney.
I'm sure Melanie Balcom is thinking, seriously, we can't get one charge here? I thought this might be a charge call.
Instead, the foul is called on Gaffney, and he'll send Morgan Tuck to the free throw line and send the UConn fans to their seats. See the numbers for Tuck. Nearly perfect from the field, and perfect on this trip to the free throw line. And for the game, she is perfect from the stripe. 4 for 4 from the line, 5 of 6 from the floor. Nurse and Tuck each with 14. UConn on top by 25, their largest lead, 30 in the first half. Key weaving through traffic and taken away by Mosqueda Lewis. Mosqueda Lewis to Kia Nurse, sets for 3. There's Mosqueda Lewis on the glass, but knocked out of her hands, and Vanderbilt will try to push it back the other way.
But it's nice to see Mosqueda Lewis getting on the offensive glass. Couldn't finish because of the good Vanderbilt defense.
Drive to the basket, taking it at Stewart, was Morgan Beatty. Key with the offensive rebound, and Mosqueda Lewis takes it away. Dribbles through traffic, and it's a 3-on-0 breakout the other way.
The UConn defense once again leading to offense.
And Kia Nurse whistled for the foul.
Well, here, Mosqueda Lewis with the steal. And Stewart got the easy finish.
The assist to Moriah Jefferson. Jefferson now with 4 assists to go along with 8 points.
She's trying to talk right now. She was trying to talk to Stewart, saying, help me out on this screen. Much better communication by UConn defensively.
Rebecca Dahlman held at 2 points in the first half. She's averaging 10 a game. And there's a foul on Stewart. That's her 4th.
You hear what the crowd thinks of it. The pro UConn crowd down here outside Naples. Well, see, part of it was, that's a bad call. But part of the problem was she got beat on the drive initially and then was playing catch up.
Well, now we're really going to learn something here, because Stewart is not coming out of the game with the 4 personal fouls. She's going to stay out there.
Yeah, is he trying to say, hey, listen, figure it out? I think this might be a game where you can do that. Find a way to stay on the floor and not get a 5th foul.
27-point lead does give you some of that leeway to figure things out. Also gives Vanderbilt a chance to score on the inside, and that's what Gaffney does. Nurse with fake, drives a baseline for 2.
What a heady ball fake. And the defense bought it.
Another turnover for Vanderbilt. That is number 19.
Check out this ball fake, right? Boom. And there was no weak side help from the middle. Dahlman got beat baseline side. Someone's got to step over and stop Nurse outside the key.
Rachel Bell into the game for Vanderbilt. Saw her make a 3 in the first half. Skipped over to Nurse. Nurse was bumped, and the foul's called on Marquez Webb. Correction, they give the foul to Krista Reed. Reed picks up the foul. That's her 2nd personal. 3 on Gaffney, 3 on Webb. Webb will go to the bench. And Raytia Long, junior from Dayton, Ohio, will come into the game for the first time. Great ball movement, leads to a layup for Tuck.
That was really one of the best offensive sets we've seen here tonight. Tremendous ball movement.
Leading in for 2 is Gaffney. Gaffney having a good game. She has 8. Her career best is 12. Mosqueda Lewis. Gaffney now with a rebound. There's a block by Stewart. Well,
Gutsy.
with 4 fouls, yeah, that's one word that comes to mind. Not the one that was really coming to mind quickly. There's a good look down to Morgan Tuck. Finishes. She's having a great game with 16 to pace UConn. To see the Caron-Goudreau twins together on the bench as Audrey Ann has made her way out of the locker room, as Kareth reported right before the start of the second half. Poked in the eye, but it was really a scratch on the eye, so she's now out here keeping an eye on her teammates here, so it's good to have her back here on the floor with us. And that's Gaffney again. She's in the double figures with 10 to lead Vanderbilt in scoring. Once again, Brianna Stewart playing with 4 fouls. She feeds Mariah Jefferson.
That was a great cut by Jefferson coming from that weak side into the middle of the lane.
Rachel Bell came in late in that first half, knocked down a 3, knocks down her first shot of the second half. She has 5. The lead was 25 at halftime, the largest lead 30 for the Huskies. Tuck makes the extra pass, it leads to the hoop.
Yeah, you know, it's great you're getting everyone involved offensively, but what UConn can't forget to do is make sure Brianna Stewart touches the basketball.
Stewart has to stay straight up and down. Jefferson comes flying through to get the steal. Can she finish? Yes, she can.
Wow. Cat-like quickness.
Mariah into double figures now with 10. Well, they're trying to feed the post, take it at Stewart, seeing if they can get her to foul out of the game. Stewart says it wasn't off of her. The officials believe otherwise. Here's Mariah once again.
Yeah, just not giving up on the play. Relentless enthusiasm by Mariah Jefferson.
Ball on the floor. Grabbed by Vandy, and they'll set things up. And a foul on Mosqueda Lewis.
Yeah, you got to use your feet there, not your body.
That'll be the first personal on Kalina.
See, the ball goes in the post. Look, see, you're bumping with the. See, you take the time to bump with the hip. You got to, for every one step of their post player, you got to move 2 feet.
Mariah Jefferson and Brianna Stewart check out of the game for UConn as Kia Stokes checks in along with Sanaya Chong. And a turnover again for Vanderbilt. They don't get it in, so a 5 count on Vandy.
Good half-court defense by the Huskies.
Chong sets her feet. That's off the mark, but there is Stokes reaching in. Can't hold on to it, taken away by Key. 21 turnovers, by the way, for Vanderbilt. Gaffney playing with some confidence. And Kia Stokes is going to get whistled for a foul. Here's tonight's UConn trivia question presented by Mercedes-Benz. Who holds UConn's single game record for most 3-point field goals made? Top of the show, we told you that Kalina Mosqueda Lewis had moved into the top 3 all-time in 3-pointers made. We'll have the answer to tonight's trivia question coming up in just a few minutes. Drive on the baseline. Got it for Krista Reed. She had 7 in the first half, now 9 for the game. Gaffney leading the way for Vanderbilt with 10. Vanderbilt came in with a perfect 5-0 record, knocking off Minnesota 71-54 in the first round of the Gulf Coast Showcase. Minnesota was undefeated. And this foul gets called against UConn.
I think it's on Morgan Tuck. That's not quite sure what she did.
16 fouls, Meg, 7 minutes into the second half. Gaffney high post, wants to drive on Stokes, and she'll finish. Matching her career high. Kristen Gaffney with 12 now. She came in averaging 5 a game. She didn't play against Minnesota last night. Nurse to Mosqueda Lewis. Got the open look. She was semi-open on her first touch, but it was wide open second time she got it back.
And credit Kia Nurse for driving in and pulling the defense, and then the nice kick out to Mosqueda Lewis.
UConn doing a great job sharing the basketball. 13 assists now for UConn. They're averaging 21.5 assists a game. Last year they averaged 21 assists a game. The pull-up is good by Krista Reed. She's one shy of her career high, now with 11. And again, an open look for Mosqueda Lewis, and she will not miss. 14 now for the senior.
And that's a killer defensively. You can't give up the same shot 2 possessions in a row to the same kid in the same spot.
Off the key miss, here's Kia Nurse. Nurse gets tangled up. You can hear the UConn fans in this building saying you had a couple of opportunities to call that foul. It finally was. That's a hand waiver there, ma'am. I saw that.
And as good as Mosqueda Lewis's defense and energy has been, she's been on fire from behind the arc. 2 threes in a row. Huskies up 70-43.
Before, I definitely wasn't the type of person to want to be a leader, or I'm not necessarily the most vocal person, but yeah, Coach says if you don't have to be the oldest to be a leader, but you're definitely take the most, responsibility when you're the oldest, because you're the one that's going to leave here with or without a national championship. It's your last year.
Well, it takes us back to what we talked about at the top of our telecast, Meg, when you look at Kalima Mosqueda Lewis, you know she's going to get her points. It's the other parts of her game, including that leadership aspect, that's going to be really under the microscope here in her senior year.
Yeah, and, she's the one to say, that's not necessarily my personality, but, sometimes you got to go outside your comfort zone to find out a little bit more about yourself.
Morgan Tuck with a rare miss tonight. She was 6 of 7 from the field before missing that jumper, but a foul is called on Vanderbilt. That's their 5th team foul. Tuck, back-to-back misses, but it's Stokes who reaches over and resets things for the Huskies.
They had some good minutes, UConn did, with Brianna Stewart on the bench in the first half. Let's see if they can duplicate that here in the second. Look at that ball movement.
Finished by Stokes.
Outstanding ball movement. Everyone on the same page, really good spacing.
15 assists on 30 UConn field goals. They're shooting better than 60% from the field in this game. 64% to be precise. Jefferson reaches in for the rebound. Skips it over. Mosqueda Lewis. Again, it's Stokes. And another assist for Tuck.
Nice pass from Tuck, but what a nice cut by Kia Stokes, diving to the hole.
16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists for Morgan Tuck, and a rebound for Kia Stokes. That's her 6th. Jefferson hits the gas and takes it to the hoop for 2.
Into overdrive.
She's had a really strong game. Setting the tone in the backcourt. Talked about the energy, the intensity. Starts with her. Once the opposition wants to bring it up court, she's usually the first line of defense.
And one thing that the UConn coaching staff has always said, is she almost comes up with a steal there, is it's not about the wins and losses and championships, it's about the process. The process has looked much better here tonight.
Shot clock violation. Here's Mariah hitting the gas to the hoop.
I mean, just look how fast she goes with the basketball, blowing by those white jerseys.
Tuck and Mosqueda Lewis head to the bench. Gabby Williams is on the floor for UConn. So it's Stokes, Jefferson, Williams, Kia Nurse, and Sanaya Chung, the 5 right now for the Huskies. A 9-0 run for UConn. Make it 11-0. Another finish by Kia Stokes.
And a nifty look from the freshman Williams.
Inside of 9 to play. The lead is up to 35. And a block for Stokes. Williams brings it in, and here's Jefferson. Mariah back to Sanaya Chung. Open look for 3.
That's a nice shot for Chung.
She had missed her first 2 3-point attempts tonight. Now, after that 3 is made, she's got 5.
But the tempo of it was good. It came within the flow of the offense. They had really moved the ball well, inside, out, side to side.
Stokes will pick up the loose ball. Another turnover for Vanderbilt. That's number 23. The bump. Williams is fouled. She'll go to the free throw line when we come back. Everyone getting involved for the Huskies here tonight, sharing the basketball. Kia Stokes with 6 second-half points, 8 in the game, and the Huskies are rolling. On Friday, Ryan Boatright and the UConn men return to action as they look for a win in Stores. They'll take on Yale at Gampel. UConn men's basketball on SNY. UConn and the Bulldogs, presented by Sam Adams. Coverage begins Friday at 6:30, and it's only on SNY. Now the answer to tonight's trivia question, presented by Mercedes-Benz. We asked who holds UConn's single-game record for most three-point field goals made. Maya Moore made 10. That was matched by Kalina Mosqueda Lewis this year against UC Davis.
Man, that is a lot of threes.
Hang on a second. Did I just catch the brain trust of the SNY, the stat mavens? They're talking to each other in the truck right now like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Eric might be right. I am right. They just acknowledge. Did you hear it? Gerard just kind of acknowledge it? Yeah, you're right.
Yes, it was a very faint
This
whisper.
is a big moment for me, yes. Maya Moore and Kalina Mosqueda Lewis both making 10. It's just that UC Davis game sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. We weren't there, sad to say.
Exactly.
Bandy with it with Reed. Jasmine Jenkins. Jenkins drops it in, and Kia Stokes with a block.
Nasty block by Stokes.
Well, you've noticed her when she's been in the game. That's her second block. She has a steal. She also has 6 rebounds to go along with 8 points. Now she's fighting on the offensive glass, getting on the deck. Gabby Williams fighting for it as well, and it's last touch by UConn.
Well, Stokes, really good footwork, and just, she's so good at anticipating and blocking the shot without committing the foul.
Kendall Shaw on now for Vanderbilt, and another block shot for Kia Stokes. She came into the game with the team lead with 11 blocks.
I wasn't sure if that was Stokes or Gabby Williams.
Who are you going to give it to?
Oh, it was Stokes. Once again, you were
mean
right.
I'm right again? That is like literally twice within a couple of minutes.
As your work wife, I could say it. Your real wife wouldn't.
That's right. Well, she would. That's why you two are perfect. My work wife and my real wife. So another block for Stokes. Brianna Stewart back into the game. Can't knock down the 3, and Stokes got a hand on that one, and Gabby Williams will go to the free throw line. that's the thing about Kia Stokes. You notice her, she stands out, and it's always been that way when you're 6'3", but there are times when, got to be honest, sometimes she disappears.
Right.
But you notice her today against a Vanderbilt team, which we talked about coming in, had some size, a little bit bigger, and I think Kia's answered the call here tonight.
She has. Now, the last 2 games she hasn't started, but what I love about Stokes here tonight, she came in and she has been productive and so effective every minute she's been on the floor. And that's what they need her to do. I mean, most basketball players, they don't care if they start or not. They just want to play.
Sadie Edwards gets her first chance to play tonight, the freshman on the floor, as Kia Nurse heads to the bench. Another player you definitely notice for UConn. Huskies on top by 40.
That was really good poise in the post there.
Kendall Shaw, 6 points now for her this season. First points tonight. Williams, Stewart, Edwards, Sanaya Chong in trouble. Doesn't give up on the play though. Still fighting for it. There's who else but Kia Stokes to bring it back out. Shot clock is down to 5.
Give Chong credit for keeping it alive with the hustle.
Sadie Edwards as the shot clock expires, and there is Kia Stokes. Williams outside to Sanaya Chong. Chong's runner is good.
That's where I think Sanaya Chong is at her best. Penetrating, and then the little runner in the lane.
Well, Gino talked about it with Kareth going out, how he likes this starting 5 that he threw out there again tonight. We saw it last night. We saw it tonight. And you've seen it. Some players are sometimes better suited to kind of watch how the game develops from the bench before they first step in. We're seeing it with Chong and more noticeably Stokes in this game.
Oh, if that was a good pass, that would have been a 3 by Chong.
Edwards cutting to the basket, and an offensive foul called on Sadie Edwards.
A lot of offensive foul charges called here tonight. Nice job by Vandy. You see number 15, Jasmine Jenkins, stepped in there, took that charge.
Knocked out of bounds by Gabby Williams. .438 to go in the semifinal matchup between Vanderbilt and UConn. Huskies closing in on a matchup with the Green Bay Phoenix. Stokes knocked that one away. It's his last touch by UConn. Kia doesn't agree.
I don't know about that one, said Kia.
One.
She's so good going straight up.
Tough to tell.
Hard
Somebody
to tell.
spiked it out of bounds. Kia's line in this game, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Perfect 4 for 4 from the field. And a traveling violation, turnover number 24 for the Commodores.
Well, Balcom talked about the turnovers and the need to cut down on them. But, you know, as we have seen over the years, Eric, UConn has a tendency with their defensive pressure to not only take teams out of what they do best, but to force them to turn the ball over.
And I think Vanderbilt got UConn's best in that first half especially.
No question about it.
Brianna Stewart into double figures, now with 10. Stewart takes it away. Brianna picked up her 4th foul just 3 minutes and 1 second into the second half. Gino Auriemma kept her on the floor for a long stretch of time playing with the 4. UConn got contributions from a lot of different players tonight. Stewart now at 12.
Nice pull up there on that baseline to not cause any contact and a potential offensive foul, resulting in her 5th.
Foul called on UConn. Sanaya Chong whistled for it. That will get us to our 4-minute media timeout. Tierney Lawler will come into the game when we come back to Estero with UConn on Cruise Control.
I want to be a bigger role. I want to play more minutes, obviously. I want to score more. I still can rebound, and I still can block shots. So I know I can do that. I just want to, have a bigger impact so the team feels like they need me to play. Last year, I know all the coaches wanted me to be like that. But, my confidence was up and down. I wasn't really very consistent. So this year, I'm really focused on being consistent with what I know I can do. And I just want to perform every day at practice and in the games.
Well, I think it's something the coaches have wanted to see, the fans have wanted to see, but it's going to have to come from her if we're going to see it, right, Meg?
No question about it. She has to own it, and she certainly has owned it here this evening, her best basketball of the season. But the key for Kia is to bring it every single day.
They've updated the official stats here. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 4 of 4 shooting, 5 blocks and a steal for Kia Stokes here tonight. Tierney Lawler into the game as Sadie Edwards brings it up. Lawler pulls the trigger, can't get it to go, but will pick up the loose ball. And Sanaya Chong will reset for the Huskies. And a foul called on Vanderbilt. That will be the 8th team foul on the Commodores. So it will be the championship game of the Gulf Coast Showcase tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. on SNY. Third-ranked Huskies taking on the Green Bay Phoenix out of the Horizon League. They beat Georgia Tech in this tournament by 21. Beat Arizona State tonight by 6. Their lone loss this year was in overtime to Vanderbilt.
Yep, and let me tell you what, Eric, they are tough, physical. I am so looking forward to that game tomorrow night. It'll be awesome.
Green Bay with 15 straight 20-win seasons. They were down to Arizona State in the second half, but ran their offense, some back cuts, some good hard screens, some hustle plays, ended up with a victory. So it'll be Green Bay and UConn coming up tomorrow. You saw Brianna Polito into the game. Free throw is off the mark. Second chance here for Vanderbilt inside of 3 minutes to play. And another block for Stokes, number 6. Sadie Edwards. Williams back to Lawler. Vanderbilt ball. Tierney's going to get her money's worth.
Quick trigger, yeah. I tell you, Stewart, Chong, and Nurse were up on the bench ready to erupt if that ball had gone in.
So as this game winds down, on the cut, another block for Stokes.
Two-handed swat.
That's a new career high for Kia Stokes, her 7th block shot.
And what makes Kia so good blocking shots is that she always goes straight up and leaves her hands up there, and she doesn't bring them down. That's why she rarely gets called for fouls.
How about another one? 8. Well, the bench is really up, too. Kia Nurse leading the charge. Brianna Stewart, they're up yelling. Full support for Kia Stokes. Williams has her shot blocked.
That's where she should elevate first. She can out-jump everybody in the gym. Oh, there was the one. Her last block coming from behind. Boy, she has such great timing.
Well, on the official stat sheet right now, she's got 7 blocks in 16 minutes. I have her for 8, so we'll go with 7 right now, which is still a career best.
My money's on you. Last night they changed it. Right, you once again, this is getting scary. You were right last night, too. I'm not sure if this is going to continue
Saturday
to work.
night in Florida. I'm not in Florida many Saturday nights. That's it. My luck is going to run out. Either way, she has made a difference here today as Polito has it with 90 seconds to go. Good finish by Sadie Edwards. That will be the first field goal of her UConn career.
And she earned it. It was a tough take.
Stokes looking for more blocks. And Shaw had to go off the top of the square to try to get that one to go down.
Well, even though she won't get credited with the block, she certainly changed that shot.
Shaw bats it away. Bell. Finished by Krista Reed. Reed with 13. That's her new career high for this freshman. Again, a lot of freshmen on this Vanderbilt team. No seniors. They lost one of their best players in the first half to an eye injury. Be a team to kind of watch here as they develop and progress over the next couple of years.
Yeah, look for this Vanderbilt team to just get better and better as the year moves along. Balcom has become much more involved in their recruiting. They're bringing in great kids, talented kids.
Well, the most important thing on their to-do list, it seems, every year is beating Tennessee, which any Connecticut fan can get behind, I'm sure. Final 30 seconds of this matchup here as UConn gets set to take on Green Bay. And there's Stokes. Well, has it taken away from her, though. Good battle by Vanderbilt. That three-point is good. Krista Reed with a strong game, 16. She now has 25 in this tournament so far, 2 games, and that will do it. The UConn Huskies win again, and they win big. 91-52, the final score here tonight in Southwest Florida.
Definitely the best game this team has played this year. Eric, Gino's got to be happy with the effort, the enthusiasm, the attention to detail. And the kids look like they had more fun tonight.
Gino and Melanie Balcom sharing a moment as they shake hands here after this win for UConn. 91-52 is the final. The Huskies will take on Green Bay out of the Horizon League tomorrow night, 8:30 here on SNY as they try to capture the Gulf Coast Showcase Championship. And a couple extra hugs here at the end for UConn graduate assistant Jasmine Lister. As Kara told you at the top, she spent 4 great years at Vanderbilt, now an graduate assistant for UConn under Gino Oriemo, who's standing by with Kara.
Well, Gino, Morgan Tuck and Kia Nurse were your leading scorers tonight with 16. You told me they've been excelling since you put them in the starting lineup. What are they doing for the team in addition than showing up on the scoreboard?
Well, I think they're just, their aggressiveness is something that we really needed. You watch both of them, they really, when they touch the ball, something good's going to happen. Either they're going to make a shot, they're going to drive it, they're going to make a play for one of their teammates. They just really play with an aggressive mindset at both ends of the floor, and I think that's starting to rub off on the rest of the team.
One of the lasting images from the second half was Kia Stokes and her block party. How is her defense coming along?
Well, that's always been Kia's strength. Defensively, there aren't many centers that are better. She's got great timing. And if we could get her to work that hard on the offensive end, but today was a great step for her. I think she needed a game like today, and hopefully she can build on it for tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Gina. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow will be a matchup for the championship between Green Bay and UConn. Megan and I will be back with a final word here from Estero after Kia Stokes and the Huskies pick up a win. UConn women's basketball on SNY, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts Dark Roast is here. Bold start, smooth finish, never bitter. America runs on Dunkin'. And by Mercedes-Benz. 91-52 win for UConn, and Morgan Tuck and Kia Nurse leading the way. They are our players of the game, presented by People's United Bank, both with 16 points, as UConn places 5 in double figures in picking up this 39-point victory. And really, you heard from the head coach a moment ago. It's something you've talked about over these last couple of days, trying to get that aggressiveness going, trying to bring the tempo up, trying to bring the energy up. And these two are setting the tone right now for UConn.
Yeah, and it's nothing that's so outrageous and spectacular that they're doing that's different. They're just coming and showing up and playing with a passion. And for a freshman like Kia Nurse to come in and change the culture of the team the way she has is really impressive. But Morgan Tuck was off last year with the knee injury. Her presence is incredible this year. And here, Kia Stokes, with 3 of her 7 blocks on the night, was just a dominating presence in the post.
And that's in the books right now. 7 blocks for Stokes. That's a career high for her as UConn wins it by a final of 91-52 over Vanderbilt. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. for the championship game of the Gulf Coast Showcase as UConn takes on Wisconsin Green Bay in the title game. Again, our coverage starts at 8:30. Services provided by the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. Plan your trip at fortmyers-sanibel.com. From Meg Como, Kareth Burke, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Eric Freed saying so long from Estero, Florida. UConn wins again.